better manager. There are 5 levels of managers. The lowest level of managers are those who depend upon their position in the structure of the organization to impose their views upon others. Others follow them not because of the respect they have, but because of the position they hold. And then the higher, at fourth level, are those managers who have developed in them fine and admirable qualities, and their subordinates can see them and respect them for it. Now they follow them not merely because of their position, but because they love and respect them. And then the third level of managers are those who are able to convert people's respect into productive work. In other words, it is no use that everybody respects you and says, Jai, Jai, Jai. But when it comes to actually doing work, they don't perform. You have to convert people's goodwill into productive work. And those who can do it because of the respect they command are at number 3. And at number 2 now, they are those who don't only do productive work with their subordinates, but look on developing their subordinates. In other words, they see the organization not as producing material goods alone, but the organization providing opportunity to all the employees to grow in their lives, to evolve materially and spiritually. And they nurture and help the people under them. That is why nowadays the concept of servant leadership is becoming more and more popular. In other words, management science has been churned nicely. And as a result of all this churning, I'm talking about Western management science, they are slowly gravitating to the conclusion that the most effective kind of leader is the one who is a servant. This is what our scriptures have told us since thousands of years. You know, there was this serial called Chanakya that came on TV. It got repeated recently, but I remember about 30 years ago, it was coming on TV, and I was in somebody's house on Sunday and this was playing. I heard a little bit of it and the dialogue stuck to my head. Chandragupta, King Chandragupta, was asking his guru, Chanakya, in accordance with your Vedic scriptures, what is the position of the king apropos the public, the citizens of the country? And the guru screamed at his disciple. Chanakya shouted at King Chandragupta and said, look, the king is the servant of the people and nothing but the servant. This attitude, service attitude, Western management science is discovering that this is the finest attitude in successful leaders. Spirituality helps us nurture this attitude so naturally. Dasabhutamidam tasya jagat sthavara jangamam Srimannarayana Swami Jagatam Prabhurishvaraha. In the Padma Puran, Veda Vyas writes, Dasabhut, Das means servant. He says, everything in creation is serving the one supreme divine entity. Sthavar Jangam, the insentient entities, material energy Maya, is also serving Brahman. And the little souls are also serving Brahman as his little parts. Just like the hand is the part of the body and it serves the body. And in serving the body, its needs are automatically met. The hand does not need to think, how do I nourish myself? The hand only needs to think, how do I serve what I am a part of? This is the distinction between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. Material consciousness says, I, me, myself. I am self-centered. How do I meet my needs? That person becomes a transactional manager. People don't have faith. People don't trust because inwardly they know this person is selfish. And spiritual consciousness teaches us it is in giving that you will receive. Your nature is to serve. Everything in creation is serving that one. And when the intellect is convinced in serving, our needs are met. The divine love, divine knowledge, divine bliss I want, then we make service as the goal of our life. And we look on every opportunity as a way to please the divine. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam. Arjun, Lord Krishna says, it's not only in the temple that you will be spiritual. Yat karoshi, whatever you do it for my pleasure. Whatever you give away, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, make them all divine. This is the wonderful science of Karma Yoga. Make your work divine. Before hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was a warrior. After hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he was still a warrior. What did the spiritual knowledge change? It changed his inner self, his consciousness. Earlier, he thought, I need to work to be a king for myself. And later on, he understood all work is to be done for the pleasure of the Lord. So, this beautiful perspective, where the whole world gets integrated, where we develop loving respect towards all and love to give to others. Such a mature emotional attitude develops in us with the practice of spirituality. That is how we integrate both of these. And when we start doing that integration, we realize the distinction has finished. Management is material, science, spirituality is different, is gone. Everything is spiritual. Isha vasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat. The whole world is the veritable form of God. If I am using management science in the service of the Lord, then how can we call it material? Now, for example, we are using technology today. This technology, is it good or is it bad? Some people will say, Swamiji, if you use this technology for watching TikTok, that is very bad because it's a Chinese app. People have their perspective. But Today, we are using this mobile technology to discuss divine wisdom and to discuss inner transformation. Who calls the technology bad? Technology by itself is neither good nor bad. It's a question of the use we put it to. As long as we are disconnected from the spiritual and our perspective is the material is all there is, myself, then these distinctions are there. But the moment the spiritual nature comes, then money becomes a means to serve the Lord. Knowledge becomes a means for it. You see, this is the beautiful Indian culture where all arts, all crafts, all music, all literature evolved as a form of bhakti. Look at the most amazing architecture in Tamil Nadu. Mind boggling, the temples of Meenakshipuram and Sri Rangam. Now, can you call them material edifices? They were all built in the spirit of devotion. So, management science is not intrinsically good or bad. Your intention can make the difference. When we nurture spirituality, management science becomes a fine means of uplifting the world and of serving everyone. And then slowly we develop this perspective. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. The whole world is a form of God. As Group Captain Vijay Kumar was mentioning, I had the privilege of participating in a function in Chennai organized by the Madras Management Association. And uh, as one of the speakers, I had the opportunity to hear the other speakers. And I was so thrilled. Every time I'm thrilled when I hear these high achieving CEOs speak with so much of spirituality, speak with so much of integrity, and speak with so much of conviction in the inner values and virtues. And then I realize they are only verifying the concept that to rise in life, you must grow from within. Develop your inner self. That is the way to succeed in spirituality. I will conclude with one little story. There was a fair going on, exhibition, and a number of activities for entertainment. There was the merry-go-round and the roller coaster, things being sold. One vendor was selling helium balloons. He had many colored balloons. And every once in a while, he would release a balloon which would rise up into the air. That was his way, his marketing strategy, his announcement of his brand. It would grab the attention of everyone in the fair. One boy was fascinated by the balloon, which was not coming down but going up. He came close and he watched as one by one, every few minutes, the balloons were released. And then he asked the man there that you release the black balloon and the red balloon and the green balloon. Will the white balloon also go as high as the other balloons have gone? The balloon seller said, my child, it's not the color of the balloon which matters. It is what is inside it that matters. And that is how it is in life. It is not just the external techniques that you learn which matter. It is how much you develop your inner self your virtues, your perspective, emotional maturity, which will determine how high you will rise in life. So, to manage better, grow spiritually. Just a few words about our organization, and then we can come to the question and answer. As Group Captain Vijay Kumar said, we have founded the Jagadguru Kriopaluji Yog, or JK Yog as it is famous, and our headquarters in USA is in Dallas. Our headquarters in India is in the state of Orissa, where over 100 acres of land we are running uh, to educate the public on health and wellness. We are running a naturopathy hospital, a charitable hospital, and to disseminate this spiritual knowledge in society. I decided that we need to have more teachers of this. And we are in the process of establishing the Jagadguru Kripalu University to help new career streams in human excellence, in Vedic sciences, in wellness sciences, so that people can take these up as careers and go and teach them to corporate houses and educational institutes as they want. So, with those words, I'd like to thank the Madras Management Association and Group Captain Vijay Kumar for having given me this privilege to connect with all of you. Thank you very much. If you wish, we can have the questions.
Thank you, Swamiji, and great insight. And in fact, we are privileged and honored to have your presence again, and your sharing and thoughts of wisdom. I think really kindle the thought process. Some of the items which you said is really outstanding, especially you said the Frenchman conversation. Then what you really pointed to the Chennai water problem, sustainability issue. Yes, we grow without unmindful of what's happening around us, and you said the natural science and spiritual science. I hope each one of us take away which is very, very important, focus on these issues. And one thing which I am very also understood, because I'm from the armed forces, come now seeing the other side, corporate want to give you money for nothing, actually. They will want to give you, get more and more and more now out of the guys. So it is true, because they are answerable to the stakeholders. So that is also impacting. And one more thing I always seen Swamiji and management. I've seen most of the Swamijis, who's ever come and spoken MMA, many of them, including some of the Shishi, Ravi Shankar, or the Swamiji, they are outstanding managers. As you rightly said, managing the people to do a voluntary organization is not easy, actually. And running an NGO, especially during the COVID time, and that's why we learned a lot of management lessons from the Swamiji, and they become more productive and managing so. And you also mentioned the king is a servant, and I hope a lot of our political masters understand that they are doing a great job now with the COVID-19. And a conclusion with the story of a balloon. Yes, what is there inside that matters. That's really clearly tells the people that you must develop your intel. The number of questions have come. I also request all the viewers keep sending your questions. Yeah, I got another 20-25 minutes. We'll try and request Swami to answer as many questions as possible, so that everybody gets a chance. The number of questions have come from YouTube to me, from WhatsApp, and also has come from Facebook. And let me go on with some of the questions which has come now in my chat box. This is a question from Nirva Shukla. You want to know how to use intelligent faith in material world. In material world, we can see anyone's thoughts and feeling. So, in which basis we trust anyone, so we can protect ourselves from the cheaters. He says, how do you identify who is a good, who is not bad, and how to deal with them?
Yes, that is a very critical question. Faith is one of the biggest aspects of our life, and nobody is without faith. Some people say, the spiritual people are with faith, and those who are atheists are without faith. But even the atheist has faith on his or her own intellectual concepts, on his or her own senses, on his or her theories. Somebody is believing the senses, what they see. Somebody is believing some other source of knowledge. So your question is, how do you ensure that you place your faith in the proper place? This is very important. We all tend to develop beliefs without thinking. Five people told you advocates are bad, and you developed a belief advocates are bad. It did not have a basis, but it developed within you. In America, they say the son of a Democrat is a Democrat, the son of a Republican is a Republican. This is the social heredity of beliefs. So instead of that, the Vedas tell us that develop faith on good knowledge. You have to put your faith somewhere. So arrive at good knowledge. There is ascending knowledge and there is descending knowledge. These scriptures are giving us descending knowledge. Check it out. What I have told you is knowledge that is 5,000 years old, and it is still valid today perfectly. So this is an astonishing body of knowledge called the scriptures. And to explain those scriptures is the guru, somebody who has realized their purports and who is living them and can explain them to you. But how do you know that your guru is interpreting these scriptures correctly? So there have been so many saints in history, hundreds and hundreds of them. If these saints said the same thing as your spiritual teacher is saying, and the scriptures have also said, this triad of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, if these validate some principle, you can then believe that, okay, this principle has been propagated and followed by the realized personalities in history. I can, with reasonable reliability, accept this to be true and believe it. So that is how you create faith. Jagadguru Shankaracharya said, Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Dridho Vishwasa Shraddha. Shraddha means firm faith in the realized saint and the scriptures. Thank you.
Captain sir, your audio is muted.
I'm so sorry. I muted myself. There's a question which has come from a YouTube viewer. We were all raised in an academic world where individual grades were critical to our success. How does an employee shift from the mindset of competition, from advancement, to the spiritual mindedness of what is good for all?
That's right. That is a very, very practical question. Let me address it in this way. As we grow up, our intelligence keeps on evolving and maturing. So the first intelligence to develop in life is PQ, physical intelligence, physical quotient, because you have to learn the skills of how to be able to sit, how to stand, how to walk, how to control the body. And then when you enter school, it is the IQ which starts developing. In other words, your cognitive skills, how to understand problems and solve them. That is what school is about. And then when you become an adolescent, then life becomes more complex. There are so many emotions of yourself and others. And slowly you start developing the EQ, emotional quotient, to understand your emotions, to master them, and to understand the emotions of others. But then, as you become a young adult, ideally, the SQ should develop. SQ is spiritual quotient, which means you start asking questions. Who am I? Why am I in this world? What is my purpose in life? What are the values that I cherish? What are my goals? This self-seeking results in growing and cultivating spiritual wisdom. So the transition that you have asked about comes about by nurturing your SQ. And the way recommended is satsang, holy association, hear divine knowledge, participate in holy congregations, which will slowly help you bring about that awakening and the maturing of your attitude and perspective in life. So, to put it even more practical, take out some time every day. Every day, take out half an hour, 1 hour for your spiritual nourishment, and the transformation will surely happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Swami. Super. Now, there's again a question from Yashash B. She wants to know that Buddha says self-love is the best love. But what if a decision we take might be good for us, but not for the others, the personal relationship and maybe more? In that case, what should we do? How should we prioritize what should be done? Is it ourselves before the others person or vice versa? What's your advice on this, Swami?
Yeah, self-love can be the best thing, it can be the worst thing. The Buddha was a firm protagonist of the quality of compassion, which is an integral part of Buddhism. And he was, in fact, a propagator of non-violence, which is today not being followed, but he was a firm teacher of that, the compassion. So, although he said self-love, he also said compassion. Now, how do these two correlate? Well, we need to understand what is the self. In our present understanding, we interpret the self to be the body, the mind, the intellect, and the self-interest is the needs, the desires of the body. And for that, we are running in the world, getting more. So if we come to the spiritual knowledge of the Buddha or the Vedas, they tell you you are not the body. Try and discover what is your real self. And when you understand, I am the soul, you will then understand it is your own self-interest to serve others. It is in giving that we will receive. The Christian saint Francis of Assisi saying as famous, "O Lord, let me seek not so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying to the little self that we are born to eternal life." So spirituality teaches us to give and to feel grateful for the opportunity. If we serve somebody, it doesn't swell us with pride. We are thankful to the person for the opportunity to serve because that is what fulfills our self-interest like nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. There's a question from Dr. Vasudevan. Quite interesting question. Swamiji, Arjuna, person who was so close to Lord Krishna, did not know what was his inner nature. It required Lord Krishna to extol him tell Arjuna that Arjuna's inner nature is a Kshatriya. So it is the guru who had to guide a person. At the same time, Advaita philosophy, it is said that it is ourselves to find our own path of realization. For self-realize, it should be our true nature. What's your advice for me? This is a little confusing where to follow and how to go forward.
Each of these questions that is being asked, if I went into greater depth, it would take me an hour. But just to accommodate as many as possible, I'm giving very short answers.
Yes, yes.
So, whether we follow Advaita or we follow Vishishtadvaita or Vishuddhadvait or Dvaitadvait or Achintya Bheda Bhed, all these great acharyas and the scriptures they refer to, they all tell us that, look, no matter what your inner self, the soul, presently, you are in ignorance. And that is to dispel that ignorance. You need the help of somebody in knowledge. So that is why Shankaracharya says, the founder of Advaitvad, Yavad gururna kartavyo tavan muktirna labhyate tasmad guruscha kartavyo gurum binana siddhyati. Look, you may be Brahman, but your intellect is affected by ignorance. With that intellect, you keep on thinking, let me remove my ignorance. It will not go. You will need a realized personality's help. That is why you will need the help. Acharyavan Purusho Hi Veda. Understand the Vedas through an Acharya. In fact, Shankaracharya goes to the extent of saying, Yavadayostrayo Vandya Vedanto Gururishvara Sarvavandyena Yatina Prasur Vandya Prayatnataha. As long as you live, the Guru will always be venerable. So don't start saying, I'm Brahman and the Guru is Brahman, we are all one, nothing required. Merely saying is different from realizing. So, because our intellect is affected by ignorance, we need a perfect source of knowledge. And that is what the scriptures and the saints provide to us. Thank you.
Super, very, very apt, Swami. Thank you. There's a question which has come from our Facebook viewer. Many corporate leaders are hesitant to speak of spirituality at all within the workplace due to its religious implications and the legal ramifications may result. How can this issue be addressed? People are a little concerned to, in openly express spirituality in a corporate world. Why is that so?
That is, in a way, unfortunate that material science does not have a place in it for spirituality. So if you see, so many scientists individually have deep faith. Newton himself was a tremendous believer. But you don't have science saying that this law is because of the will of God. And similarly, in management science, we don't have this aspect. Although the World Health Organization recognizes health as the physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being of an individual. So spirituality is an integral aspect of our human psyche. To deny it is really a very short-sighted view. Scientists conducted this experiment that this belief in a higher power, does it get ingrained because of upbringing or is it intrinsic? A child was separated from society and brought up without any external communications. One day they discovered this 11-year-old child looking out of the window with hands folded. The social scientist said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm seeing this sun rising with so much of grandeur and beauty, and I'm thinking of the power behind it and expressing my reverence for it. So the scientists came to the conclusion that you cannot avoid spirituality. So that the way society has developed is that if moment you talk of religion, then you're branded as being non-secular. The secular does not mean non-religious. Secular should mean everybody. Secular should mean everybody has the right to practice their spirituality as they believe and wish. So I would love to see the day when, before the board meeting takes place, the worship ceremonies happen. And in fact, when I see these happening in certain places, I say, look, these people are being authentic to the values with which they have grown up. There is no need to hide them. Accept them as a part of you and express them in a socially acceptable manner. Thank you.
Super, Swamiji. I think on the similar lines, Mr. Veer Raghavan also asked a question: how to nullify the effect of unconscious bias inevitably present in the managers using spirituality, which you answered almost the same question, Swamiji. Now, moving to the next question from again a YouTube viewer: how to overcome the challenge of living, working in a place where the spiritual principles are not valued at all or practiced actually. The whole management as well as subordinates don't pay any attention to such a thing. Then how do you really make them understand to come take the best benefit out of spirituality in the organization?
That's right. Well, this is a very practical problem, because very often you are working in a corrupt organization, or you're working in an organization which is aimed at extracting economic benefit from the customers without even caring for them. And then this problem arises that my values are something and the work ethics are something else. So there are two different alternatives. Either you have the courage and the strength to leave it and find a job which is more in line with your ethics. That would be the ideal solution. But very often, that is not practicable for many people, because they don't have the professional expertise to get another job easily. They have a family to take care of. There are heavy risks in leaving their means of maintenance. They are obliged, they may be in a government job or whatever. So they are obliged to do that. So that is why our scriptures say that, look, no work, even though you may try and be sinless, no work is free from sin. Even when you walk on the ground, you are killing living entities. If you say, okay, I am not doing any sin, that's not really true. You eat the yogurt and living entities are dying. So in the process of earning money, involuntarily, you may do less than perfect work. And that is why the scriptures say, out of your earnings, don't deliberately do anything wrong. But nevertheless, out of your earnings, give away 10% in charity. न्यायोपार्जित वित्तस्य दशमांशेन धीमतः कर्तव्यो विनियोगश्च ईश्वर प्रीत्यर्थमेव च. The Skand Puran says, Ved Vyas is writing, Nyayoparjit, what you earned lawfully. Dashamanshena, 1/10 take out. Ishvara Prityarth, give it away for the pleasure of God. And that will help you purify your wealth. Otherwise, like when water stagnates, it putrefies and creates disease. So wealth that you earn, it's not just for your sake, you're custodian of it for the sake of God. So 10% of it, you give it away as a means of purifying your wealth and absolving yourself of the involuntary sins involved. Thank you.
We got another 2-3 minutes. Maybe I'll try and squeeze in as many questions as possible next 3 minutes. Because there's so many questions. No, I don't want to disappoint most of them, but most of the questions are something which you already answered in your thing. The faithful leadership in marketplace begins with the question: does spirituality make a difference in the leadership? Actually,
Yes. Group Captain Vijay Kumar, there are so many theories on how to be a good salesperson, a good marketer. But it has been discovered the best salesperson is not one who is trying to effect a sales. The best salesperson is one who is trying to fulfill the needs of the customers. The customer has a need, and you are saying, look, this is your need, this is the product I have. Does it fulfill your needs? If it does, take it. In real estate, I visit California. There are 1 million registered real estate agents, property agents in California. People find it an easy career path. But then some of them are successful and some are not. Now they're trying to sell houses or help others buy houses. And it was again and again discovered the successful real estate people are those who are helping people fulfill their needs. The buyer realized this agent is not trying to get out of me. He's my helper, can be trusted. So moment the customer realizes that this seller can be trusted, immediately the bond happens. That is why even in the field of marketing, this attitude of spirituality, of service, actually helps you become more productive and more effective. Spirituality is so relevant. Unfortunately, we've separated out. But I have looked forward to the day we realize how it can really help us be the best managers possible. Thank you.
there's an interesting question to a viewer, though it's more of a personal nature. Maybe it will be beneficial to a large number of viewers. Swamiji, why I can't think and see the picture of Radha Krishna in the mind while I pray in the evening and morning? I can't concentrate 1 second to the God at the time. Swamiji, how do you advise me to concentrate and fulfill my wishes of what I want to pray for?
Okay, so Group Captain Vijay Kumar, we have now come to purely spiritual question. So the person is asking that how to focus my mind on Radha Krishna. This was the same problem that was put before Lord Krishna by Arjun. Arjun said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavad dridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayo riva sudushkaram. Oh Lord Krishna, this mind is so restless. I find it so difficult to rein in. It seems to be more restless than the wind. Lord Krishna did not dismiss his problem. He answered, Asanshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. Arjun, the problem you're stating is right. Asanshaya, mano durnigraha. The mind is difficult to control. But then he gives the solution. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. With practice and with detachment, you will succeed. So if your task, you're motivated to stabilize your mind on the image of Radha Krishna, keep a picture, close your eyes, and try and bring the image of the Lord before you. That's a beautiful way of trying to engage in devotion. And then if you fail, again open your eyes, again see. If you are not able to picturize, just feel the presence. Make it more interactive. I am pressing the feet of the Lord. I am serving the Lord. I am worshiping the Lord. In this way, make your meditation interactive, and slowly, slowly with practice, you will definitely find success.
Super. I think people who listen really get a lot of calm if you practice what Swamiji just now said. Swamiji, one last question. We will let you go. I know we have taken a couple of seconds more than what is allotted time to us by you. The last question, Swamiji, to you is: what is the difference between spirituality and mindfulness or meditation? Are gratitude and forgiveness within a spiritual context different from the same virtues within the secular context?
Our gratitude, okay, the first part of the question is the difference between spirituality and mindfulness and meditation. And the second part of the question is then gratitude in the secular context, is it different from gratitude in the spiritual context?
Absolutely.
Okay. Spirituality is a vast science, and it can never be completely described. So, slowly, as the dissemination of knowledge is taking place, this theory that I am the sole possessor of the absolute truth and everybody else is wrong and I will go to heaven, everybody else will go to hell, that is finding less and less customers. So people are realizing the value in a variety of spiritual practices. Mindfulness is one such practice that helps you develop the sense of awareness, the sense of detachment. It helps you look at things as they are and to give more proactive and controlled responses. However, that is not the end all and be all of spirituality, because we have deeper questions. Where did this world come from? Why did I come into this world? What is the ultimate goal? And mindfulness does not have answers to these. So those whose questions are deeper, they find the need to understand, who am I? Who is God? What is my relationship? And that brings them to devotion or bhakti. In bhakti, mindfulness is definitely built in. It's a different kind of mindfulness. Now, you're not only mindful, but you're also devotional. This person is a part of God. The world is belonging to Him. I'm a part of Him. Everything I do must be in His service. So, to mindfulness, you have added devotion or bhakti. That becomes bhakti yoga. Now, finally, talking about gratitude. Gratitude is also a spiritual practice. Now, somebody may say that I don't believe in spirituality, but I practice gratitude. Well, that is also a spiritual practice. It's one of the finest practices for improving your attitude. By practicing gratitude, you automatically become a positive thinker. The difference between gratitude in the secular and the non-secular, frankly, I never thought of it before because I just took it for granted. I guess it puts gratitude in a far greater perspective, where when we come in the spiritual perspective, we are grateful even for the difficulties and hardships that we face, because we know that God cannot be wrong. And if He has sent challenges our way, they also must serve a higher purpose. Hence, you find devotees offering their thanks to God even for difficulties. That is why the famous words of Kunti Devi, Vipada Santu Nashashva Tatra Tatra Jagadguru. Oh Lord, thank you for all the difficulties you gave to me. They will help purify me. The spiritual gratitude puts it all in perspective. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, life is the continual unfoldment of a being under circumstances tending to press it downwards. God has created this world as the university of hard knocks. It presses you and you face it and grow from within. So spiritual gratitude helps you make sense out of it, helps you sustain gratitude in the most difficult circumstances, and helps you see difficult circumstances in positive light to convert adversity to your eternal benefit. With those words, I would like to once again thank the Madras Management Association and your most dynamic and amazing Executive Director, Group Captain Vijay Kumar, for giving me this, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to serve with a little bit of knowledge. I'm sure many of you are probably taking advantage of the knowledge that my team members put up on the internet. We are going to have a week-long yoga holistic health training online starting tomorrow. Do look it up for your holistic health. And from 20th to 26th, we are going to have the first online international yoga festival to commemorate the International Yoga Day. With those words, I thank you again very much. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji, for your kind words. Your words mean a lot to us, and we are indeed blessed to have your presence. I'm over 1,600 viewers are watching this program. I'm quite sure they would have, got invigorated and really become spiritually and mentally go, because these difficult times we want to put in some thoughts in them which will add a lot of strength to their belief in what they do, that, and we all come out of the difficult situation very successfully. And I think you are sparing the time and talking to us for the last 1.5 hours mean a lot to us, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. We look forward to have your presence more too in the future. And thank you also for answering all the questions. I know some of the questions are really asked to just check more the knowledge, check their knowledge. I couldn't go to some of the questions, but that is what it is in a public platform where we get a lot of questions to be asked by a lot of participants. Thank you, Swamiji, and all the very success for your thing. I'm quite sure some of the viewers watching this program will log on to your website and also get, because yoga is one thing, is a way of life, and it is really makes people really smart. I know I practice yoga. Since the time I started practicing yoga and meditation, it's done quite a bit of good thing to me, actually. I could be calm in all the activities, what you could do. And it does more than more good than, it's really worth investing time. Thank you, Swamiji, once again. We are indeed blessed and honored by your presence. And thank you, viewers, who watch this program in large number. And if some of your friends have missed this program, not to worry. This program is going to be available. The recording will be available on the website for next 1 year. Please pass on the message so that people get immensely benefited by watching this program. Thank you so much once again. Stay safe and stay healthy. And I'm quite sure together we all will come out of this situation very soon, and look forward to seeing you more soon at MMA. And when we meet physically is something different, and when we meet virtually is something different. All the very best. Thank you, Swamiji. May I request all the participants in the Zoom to go to your reaction, show your sign of appreciation to Swamiji by applauding or yes, thumbs up. Thank you so much. You're all been a fantastic viewers. Straight away, you understand what I'm conveying to you. Thank you so much, and really wonderful interacting each one of you. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. Thank you, Swamiji, and take care.
Namaste, Group Captain Vijay Kumar. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.